This is Movie Night with the Boys.
Hello there. Welcome to Movie Night with the Boys. I'm Zach.
And I'm John.
And we're a movie podcast where we talk about movies. But today we're doing something special. We are reviewing Obi-Wan, the Disney original series. And John is going to tell us about the first episode. So.
Hell yeah, son. Hell yeah. So, first episode of Obi-Wan opens up in Coruscant with basically the Execute Order 66 thing happening right then and there. We get a little imagery of Coruscant, and then we pan back and we see a handful of younglings training in like a separate area, it looked like. They were like off to a different area of the temple.
I mean,
They weren't using lightsabers.
they were in their like classroom or something, and they're younglings.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think they really have lightsabers.
some of them did, I thought.
No, they have training sabers, but they're not like they're walking around with them on
Oh,
their belts.
yeah.
Right?
Anyways, proving nonetheless that they're defenseless, basically. Execute Order 66 happens, and they scurry. Their trainer slash teacher, whatever you want to call her, she does the best she can to protect them, but even in her defensive capabilities, she wasn't able to hold herself strong against the attack of swarming clone troopers that was coming to ruin their day. And
I'm gonna point something out here. When the stormtroopers aren't shooting at the main characters, they have the best aim. I'm
yeah,
just gonna throw that out
called
there.
plot armor. It's the best kind of armor you can get.
Yeah. But I mean, there's that whole meme of stormtroopers can't hit shit. But I mean, they didn't have a problem killing all these Jedi. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
They got overwhelmed. Anyways, so the end episode continues. 10 years after the order is executed, most of the Jedi are gone. We get the Grand Inquisitor, the fifth brother, and the third sister showing up to Tatooine looking for a Jedi. They go into a bar. The Grand Inquisitor is like this master class tactician of being able to figure shit out, it looks like, because he's like walks in, deduces shit, walks around. He's like Star Wars' own Batman, figures shit out. And then Reva almost ruins the day by just trying to throw a knife in the dude that he's interrogating's face, which somehow manages to trigger the Jedi who's supposed to be concealing himself from death.
Well,
And
that's the thing about the Jedi, right? Like, they're not supposed to, you know what I mean? Like, when somebody's in trouble, they're supposed to step in. And
yep.
yeah, the Grand Inquisitor, he kind of figured it out, but at the same time, there was lightsaber marks in the wall.
Oh yeah, there
So
was. And the dude had his hand injured.
right? So it wasn't really too difficult. Like, he's no Batman. Let's just put it that way.
No, maybe not, but there was a little point. I don't know if you noticed this, but there was a little point in that scene where the Grand Inquisitor kind of looked at that guy like he knew already, because I think he felt the Force in him a little bit.
Okay.
But maybe it was just speculation at that point in time. Who knows?
Well, other thing too is the Inquisitors. Some of the Inquisitors are actually Jedi.
Yeah.
Right? They're
Yep.
not given the rank of Sith, but they're, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, that's how they stayed
They're Force
alive.
users. They're
Yes.
Force users.
No, like they're ex Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that's
what I mean. They're Force users. They're not
yeah,
Jedi. They're not Sith.
technically they're on the dark side, but like the Grand Inquisitor, he was a guardian for like the libraries and stuff of the Jedi. Like, he had a yellow lightsaber.
You would know this stuff from the comics or the books.
No, this comes from like Clone Wars, the show.
See, again, stuff I haven't watched.
Yeah.
But I know he was a mainstay in at least a season, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure he's in the not in the Clone Wars. Like, you'll see him possibly, but you see the guard in their
Yeah.
armor, and they wear masks, so you can't really tell who's who.
Yeah.
But in Rebels, right? Rebels takes place just after this Obi-Wan series.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then, but like through Rebels, there's a couple time skips, I believe, as well, right? Because yeah, no, in Rebels they're being chased by the Inquisitors. So Rebels takes place just after after this Obi-Wan show.
You sure it's not like right before? I thought this Grand Inquisitor was in Rebels. I thought I saw
No,
a little.
because not the main character, but the other Jedi in the show, Kanan,
Yeah.
he was a youngling who escaped, and he's like in his
Uh,
early 20s, I believe, right? So,
that's actually a perfect segue, by the way. I was doing a little Easter egg shopping earlier, and one of the things that got brought up is Riva might be one of those younglings from the beginning of the episode.
yes and no, but we'll get into that in my episode. So,
Okay.
continue on.
So after the bar scene, well, during the bar scene, the Grand Inquisitor kind of verbally berates Riva because she's a little reckless. And she's basically only interested in Kenobi for some reason. It's not revealed, at least not yet. Um, but she's like, she doesn't want the scraps. She wants the big fish. I'm guessing it's to impress the boss, but I could be wrong. Um,
That's
so then
the
we find. Go
that's
ahead.
that's the weird thing about Riva. Like, we don't understand what the fuck she wants. Like,
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, going into episode 2 is especially like,
yeah.
but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yep.
Um, so then we get Kenobi being introduced as Ben Kenobi, the meat cutter at this like whale creature in the middle of the desert. Do you know what that creature is?
No.
No. Okay, so it's random whale creature in the middle of the sands of Tatooine.
I'm bad with names. You think I'm gonna remember species of aliens? I don't think
I don't
so.
know. You just dropped like 16 different Jedi names from shows that I've never seen, so I wasn't sure. Anywho, so Ben's still on Tatooine. He's doing his thing. He goes back and he completely ignores the struggles of people that he encounters, which is odd, I guess. I mean, I understand the point of it. I totally see why he's doing it because he wants to be subtle, but it feels weird knowing how compassionate he is.
I think
And
I think that's kind of what's gonna lead him into him turning into old crazy Ben Kenobi. You know what I
hopefully,
mean? Right? Like, the fact that he can't help people like he wants to might drive him kind of crazy, you know?
so
We'll see.
quick speculation. Do you think we get almost Alec Guinness old Ben Kenobi appearance by the end of this series?
I honestly I couldn't tell you. I'm not too sure where this series is gonna go. Like, if it's gonna extend into, you know, book two of Obi-Wan. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We'll have to just wait and see.
Yeah, yeah. I like that we know where it goes, but we don't know where it's going to go to get there.
Yeah,
So
but
cool.
we don't even know if it's gonna get to those things that we already know. It might just be just this one little like side story, and he goes
True.
back into the mountains for another 10 to 15 years, whatever it is.
Very true. Hopefully we get something good. I hope we don't get a shitty cliffhanger ending for the series.
Yeah.
Um,
Unless they're gonna do a season two, then I'm fine with that. But
so he's done with the meat factory. He's going home. He parked his camel elephant
anteater camel.
anteater thing, whatever the fuck it was. It's the same thing from Revenge of the Sith, by the way. It's the same creature he had when he dropped off Luke to Uncle Owen.
Oh,
Same thing that he.
I didn't even catch that. But good.
Yep.
Okay, okay.
So that was a cool little tie together there. And he gets into his dominion, and he's greeted by a little droid that apparently is his like security drone. It comes in, and he meets the Jawa, the Jawa that is his like scrapper, I guess. And I don't know.
It was pretty funny. Like, those Jawas are assholes, bro. Like, he legit tells him, he's like, "Hey, if you're gonna steal these parts to sell them back to me, the least you can do is clean them up." You know what I mean?
Jawas are such pieces of shit.
Oh God.
So that Jawa, by the way, his eyes moved all weird. I don't know if you caught that, but he was like all sly with his eyes. Um, so the other thing, there's two things that happened in there that tied back to A New Hope. I don't know if you caught these either. The Jawa mentions, "I could smell you at Anchorhead." Anchorhead is mentioned in A New Hope by Uncle Owen, who's saying, "Go to Anchorhead to Luke to go get something." I don't remember what, but he tells him to go to Anchorhead. And the
Uncle
things that,
Owen tells Luke to go to Anchorhead?
yes, in A New Hope.
Okay.
And the thing that Obi-Wan buys from the Jawa, the ship that he's got,
Yeah.
is the same ship that Luke is playing with in A New Hope.
I don't remember the ship from A New Hope. I don't
He
remember.
was he was on a ship already with Obi-Wan and 3PO and R2 at that point. So I think it was after they left the planet. But he was flying around a ship in his hand, and it had the two wings that went out and one that went straight up, and he was flying it around on the ship, and it's the same exact model as he tried to give him.
Okay. Huh.
So
Cool.
the director of this show tried to keep it together, and that shit fire. So we find out that Ben, after that, is still looking after Luke. He goes and drops off the toy at Uncle Owen's place outside after dark. Sneaky like, he doesn't want to be seen. We also find out that he's wicked haunted by the memories of Anakin and the things that happened in the events of Revenge of the Sith. He's having trouble sleeping at night. He's clearly got some kind of PTSD from it. And he can't do what Yoda wanted him to do and communicate with Qui-Gon. So we see that constant struggle, which I think is really cool, also tied into Revenge of the Sith. Then that Jedi that the Inquisitors caught up with at the bar finds Ben in the middle of the desert somehow. I don't even think that gets revealed as to how he found him.
I don't think so either.
So how the fuck did he just, I don't know. Anyways, he finds him in the middle of the desert. He comes begging for help. Kenobi's like, "You've got the wrong guy." He's trying to play it off like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And he finally gives in and says, "Dude, give it up. Dude, just bury your lightsaber and move on." And homie's like, "It's too late for that. They've already found me." But he still refuses. And in a little while after that, we find the dead body of that same guy hanging in the middle of the square of the town of which he parks his anteater camel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
So,
strung up.
should have learned his lesson. Also, we get Alderaan, and what a beautiful fucking planet it is. And we meet Leia, who was adopted by Senator Bail Organa.
Yep.
And she is like Luke. She's adventurous. She's trying to get away from people and hide and play around, and has her own little droid. And it's like the similarities are all there. So you can instantly tell that you're dealing with a twin, a like-minded individual, and it's better played here than I think it was in the original trilogy.
Oh, hands down. I mean, fuck. You would have never known they were like. To be honest, like the first time you ever watched Star Wars, you didn't know they were siblings until it was revealed, right?
Mhm.
So.
Oh, by the way, in the s- oh, by the way, in the square, there was a little scene in the square that I forget to mention. There was another hand got cut off, so that continued on in
You
this
would keep track of
series
that
as
hand
well.
count.
Hey, listen, a hand goes, you got to know. Um, so back to Alderaan. Leia's playing around and she decides to run off, and she ends up getting kidnapped by fucking Flea of the Red Hot Chili
I don't know. That
Peppers.
kind of took me out a bit,
Where
but you know.
I love Flea. I think he's hilarious. I don't think he should be an actor most of the time, but he's funny. So
I
they
didn't
were
hate him. I didn't hate him.
no, I mean he was pretty hard to hate in this. Um, so they catch her, and we find out that she was hired by they were hired by Reva to get Kenobi. After she's kidnapped, the Organas try to get a hold of Kenobi. They say, "Hey, listen, you're supposed to protect them." And, "Hey, listen, you're supposed to protect them." And he's like, "I'm old.
I have to
I'm
watch
out of the
Luke. That was
game.
his
Find
excuse.
somebody
Yeah.
else." Yeah, like come on, man. Up to 10 years, but I'm not the same person anymore. He's like, um, but after that, Kenobi ends up going to the square again. He interacts with Uncle Owen and the Inquisitors. The Inquisitors come up to Uncle Owen and are like, "Do you know anything?" And he doesn't sell out Kenobi, but he then says it's because of Luke, not because of him.
Mm-hmm.
He meets up with the senator, and the senator, in person, I should say, he doesn't do another holo video, and he really can't refuse him at that point. So Luke goes out to the desert, gets 2 lightsabers.
You mean Ben?
Sorry, that's what I meant. Ben. I'm sorry, I got Luke on the brain. Ben goes out to the desert in the middle of fucking nowhere and still somehow remembers exactly where he buried 2 lightsabers in a box in the middle of fucking nowhere. And
Which is technically a callback to the last Star Wars movie.
Rise of the Skywalker?
Yeah, when Rey buried the 2 lightsabers in the desert.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. But yeah, so he has no choice but to accept. You see him kind of strap himself up in his robe as he does when he's hiding his lightsaber, and he gets on the transport and end episode.
Yep. Yep. So, overall, what was your opinion of the episode?
So I wasn't thrilled about Obi-Wan's kind of lack of compassion. It's out of character for the Obi-Wan that I know. Um, and he was so unwilling to help that other guy who was clearly like he was afraid for his life. So that really, like, you know what I mean? It's not Obi-Wan to me.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you have to look at it like this, right? If he helped that Jedi, he got figured out, then he can't protect Luke anymore,
Oh yeah,
right?
I know. I know there was
And
reasons behind it, but
it's yeah.
but
And
that
also
that aside,
he clearly hasn't trained for 10 years, so he's
yeah.
kind of garbage.
He's not the Jedi he once was.
Yeah.
Um, Overall, though, I really did enjoy the reintroduction to the Skywalker saga.
Okay. Okay.
What
Okay.
about you?
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I did get annoyed when we were seeing all the stuff with like Leia. Because I was just like, why are they showing us this? Like, what is the purpose of this? And it just was really annoying. And then when she got kidnapped, I was like, oh, okay, this makes a lot more sense. I like that a lot more.
Yeah.
Um, right? So, yeah, like even the first time they showed Flea, like it didn't really click into my head what was like going on. I'm just like, why are they showing this little kid? Like, who cares, right? Um, but yeah, after I realized what was going on, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is awesome!" Like especially the beginning of the episode with all the flashbacks to the Revenge of the Sith and everything. Especially like
Hmm.
coming fresh off of watching that, right? I'm like,
Oh
"Oh
yeah. Oh yeah.
yes, this is great," right? And yeah, no, all around, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Well, since you really enjoyed it, what was something you did really enjoy about it, more specifically?
Some things I really enjoyed about it. Okay. I don't know. I kind of liked Obi in this. Like, I liked how he was like, he stuck to his word and his convictions about, you know what I mean? Like, he knows that it's kind of weird. It's like he knows, or they all know that, Luke is super important, right? Um,
Mm.
so I don't know. I enjoyed Obi, and I liked as much as we've been on Tatooine for like the last couple of series, I enjoyed being back. I'm not gonna lie, right?
Back to the roots. Back to the
And
roots.
and the Inquisitors showing up, I did enjoy that, right? Like I do like the video games. The one with Cal Kestis, um,
Is that the one that Cameron Monaghan is?
yeah, um, yeah, I love that game. And in that game, you fight like two or three Inquisitors yourself in that game, right? And you
I
and
know.
you kind of face off with Vader, so. Yeah, yeah. So yeah. I kind of like the introduction to the Inquisitors and like how kind of ruthless they are, but not at the same time because it's not their job to kill people. It's their job to find the Jedi, right? So
Hmm.
yeah. So that's probably what I like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's probably a couple things I enjoyed. What about you?
The biggest thing that I loved about this episode, and this is probably going to be the most biggest thing for me, period, on this episode, is for being 17 years later, because The Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005. For being 17 years later and 10 years in universe later, the story doesn't feel disconnected. You don't feel like that much time is lost to it. Unlike The Mandalorian, unlike Boba Fett, this show feels like it's in that universe. I mean, obviously, The Mandalorian does directly tie in. We know Boba Fett still the same thing. This one has felt so far to me more attached to the series that we grew up with, and it feels more. It feels more like the Skywalker saga.
I guess. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes
So
sense. So, what was one thing you disliked in this episode?
I already touched on it, and again, I know that it makes sense why he's doing it, and I understand it entirely for the purposes that it is. But it's so almost upsetting that Obi-Wan is so lacking in compassion for the people that he sees suffering when he used to be the almost the voice of the suffering in a way. Like it's hard to bring myself to seeing him at that low, I guess you could call it, knowing what he is, knowing how he is, knowing who he is. It's just kind of sad. It's, you know what I mean? Like he I can almost feel how much he wants to be the person he is.
Yeah, but he's a broken man. Think about it.
Oh yeah.
He lost everything, you know what I
Oh
mean? So
yes.
like
But deep down inside him, he still wants to be that person. He still wants to be the person that can be there for people, to be the hero. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
yeah,
You know, I
that's
mean, we
fair.
saw him grow up and we saw him become his master, and then we saw him fall apart. It's, you know, I mean, that height is something that I've always recognized Obi-Wan for, even in the original trilogy when he was first presented.
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
I understand it, but it still is pretty upsetting. So, what about you?
Um the Grand Inquisitor's head. I
So,
as cool as they are, his head is just too bulbous. Like I don't know if this means I don't know. We'll get into it, but yeah, my
he looks like
issue
a light bulb.
yeah, his like they could have slimmed it down a little bit. Like I don't know why it just looks so fucking big, right? Like it's yeah, I don't know. Just yeah, the Grand Inquisitors look, but like yeah, the Inquisitors are really cool though. So I'll let it slide. But yeah, his head.
You're probably not going to like my favorite character,
What's your favorite character, John?
the Grand Inquisitor.
He didn't do anything with his big ass head.
That whole scene in the bar with him, he was surprisingly intimidating for being so cool, calm, and collected, and I just liked his delivery of that whole, you know, the Jedi, they kind of just hunt themselves. They can't help but be compassionate. And then he's looking around and he's spotting all the lightsaber marks on the wall and being deductive. I don't know. He was just, that whole scene of him really gave him some interesting dynamic that I didn't expect from a Star Wars villain.
I have to
That's
say
right.
my favorite character is still like Obi. Like he's always been one of my favorite characters. Like I just you know what I mean? I just like Ewan McGregor plays a great broken man. Like he and that's the thing, right? He's just so broken and yes, obviously he wants to help, but he knows he can't, right?
I think
That's
that breaks him even more.
well, yeah, right? So, yeah, I have to say Obi-Wan for sure. I know that might be a little bit of a cop out, but I mean, realistically, it's between the Inquisitors, Obi, and Leia, right?
What about your least favorite character?
My least favorite, do I have to say?
You're gonna say what my favorite was, weren't you?
Yeah, exactly. My least favorite character in the like in the show was that random Jedi. Like,
Oh,
bro,
Nari.
yeah, like this man has been hiding for 10 years and your bitch ass is gonna come and fucking almost get him caught? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Jedi normally go out on solo missions. You should be able to handle your own shit. That's what Kenobi should have said to him. Be like, bro, you know how many missions I did by myself?
He was a whole bitch.
Yeah, take your bitch ass out of here. And then so he left and he got his bitch ass killed. So that's my least favorite character. What 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 about you?
The fifth brother.
He was pretty lame. Like
He did fucking nothing,
he
dude.
just he
Dude, he
just
stood there.
he
He
stood there
stood
in
there.
his sun hat, just
And
chilling.
he let the dude run by. He let him run by him. He didn't even like. Hmm? That. Why?
this hat.
How are you?
The hat blocked this like line of sight. So he's like, "Oh, what? I lost him. Where'd he go?"
Dude, that fucking guy, man. The fifth brother's good thing about this whole thing was his complaining. That was all he fucking did was bitch.
Okay.
Fuck,
So,
man, the fifth brother. What a piece of shit.
so what is your overall rating for this episode?
Episode 1, we're doing out of 10 or out of 100?
Let's do 10. 100's a little
Okay.
high.
Yeah, that's fair. I gave it a 7 out of 10. What about you?
I liked it a lot, especially like the beginning, all the tiebacks to Revenge of the Sith and Order 66. So I gave it an 8, 8.5 out of 10.
All right, all
So
right. That's
yeah,
still fair.
yeah, yeah. So
You also had a lot of tie-in stuff too that I don't know.
that's true
So
too.
that benefits you more than it benefits me. All right, so surprise everyone, we're gonna actually give you 2 episodes today, not just one, because we love you that much. So this time, Zach's gonna give you part 2.
So episode 2, Obi-Wan Kenobi. We pick up with Obi and he's tracked the kidnappers to the planet of Dayu. And Obi's looking around, he's kind of lost. He gets approached by this spice like this little pink-haired spice dealer. She offers him some spice, some like something that has to do with like some Kessel. It's almost like like how they do like weed strains, right? It's like, yeah, get this like Kessel boombastic or
I
whatever
got
the
some
hell.
regs, I got some mids, I got some high
Yeah.
grade.
But like you know what Kessel is, right? It's I think they make a lot of spice there, but it's also the Kessel Run. That's the run.
Oh shit! I didn't put that together.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that pink-haired chick, the actress is Ewan McGregor's daughter.
No shit.
Yeah. So, that's pretty cool little Easter
That's
egg there.
nepotism.
So Obi ends up getting approached by this little kid and he's like, "I know a Jedi. He helps people." So he brings him to this guy and his name is Haja. Haja?
Yeah.
Haja. And he's a fake, Jedi, obviously. He's using magnets to pretend to use the Force and
Got the doors and the windows and shit.
yeah,
The
right.
fucking
And
mind trick made me laugh so hard.
yeah, that was pretty good. Like he's like talking on the thing and he's like, "This is a Jedi mind trick." And everybody watching is like, "That's not how Jedi mind tricks work, my guy."
Not at all. He's like, "Ugh, it's
Like
so
through the
hard to
microphone.
concentrate."
He's like, "I am in your head. I am in your head." Like, oh my god. But yeah, so he sends this family off after he scams them. And Obi ends up coming out of the shadows and he confronts this guy and he basically threatens him with a gun. He's like, "Hey, I can't find this girl. Tell me where the hell she is." So he gets the information out of him. Then he ends up heading over to this like I don't know. I guess they make spice or mix spice. I don't know how the hell they make drugs in Star Wars, but it's a lot of powder. And so he dresses up in this like Breaking Bad outfit, gas mask, the apron, possibly some kind of gloves. Can't remember.
Wow.
So so he gets in there, he takes out a couple guys, then he goes and he thinks he finds Leia. It turns out to be a trap. The kidnappers like rush him in the room. He ends up dropping some spice, puts his little mask on, and all the guys get all stoned off the spice. And he got the spice from the pink-haired girl. She gave him a freebie. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna need this." And for some reason, she knew that he was gonna need it. So yeah, he drops the spice. They got all stoned. He gets out, and then basically Leia was in the next room over. So he, so he saves her. Right? She doesn't trust him at first, and he's just like, "I'm a Jedi. Let's go." Right?
Why am I supposed to believe you? She's an inquisitor in and of herself.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So at this point, the Grand Inquisitor, I don't know, gets the news that I don't even know what news he gets, but he locks down the city essentially,
I think it's
right?
that Riva knows that Kenobi's there and put out the bounty, right? Or was that after?
That's after.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Huh.
yeah, so he locks down the city, and then this is where Riva would she completely disobeys his orders for her to stand down, and she puts this bounty out, which triggers all the mercenaries basically to start coming after Obi-Wan, right?
John Wick style.
Yeah. So all the mercenaries start combing the city. Obi's, trying to dodge them and whatnot. Leia ends up finding out that the mercenaries are actually after him, so she stops trusting. Like she had little trust in him anyways, but so she ends up running off, and Obi ends up following after her. So we end up on the roof. Leia's tiny little legs are jumping over these little gaps in the rooftops, right? She has a very weird run. She looks funny when she runs. It's kind of cute, right? But she
Yeah,
looks
like she's
funny
got
when she
sticks for
runs.
legs.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like she doesn't have knees. So she's jumping across these roofs. Obi's following after him. Some mercenaries pop out. We get this old, from the comic books, this crocodile looking alien dude, right? Obi's a terrible shot. He's got that stormtrooper accuracy, you know what I mean? But he doesn't like guns, so it makes sense. So Leia ends up falling off the roof somehow, and Obi ends up saving her with the Force, right? He kind of stops her fall and then slowly lowers her to the ground, right? And then like, I guess he Jedi jumps off the side of the building because as she sits up, he
Boom!
comes around. He comes around the corner,
He
right?
fucking
So
teleported down there. He's just
yeah, he just like Goku, instant transmission, right? So after this, she's like, "Oh shit, you are a Jedi," and then she basically starts trusting him, right?
overpowers of the force.
Yeah, he didn't even go. You will trust me now,
Yeah.
right? As they get away, they actually end up running into Hajah again, and he ends up kind of being like, "Here, take this. This will help you get off the planet," right? And then he sends Obi and Leia away. And at this point, Riva now shows up, and Hajah is like pretending to be the Jedi and shit, right? So she grabs him, throws him up against the wall, does all this weird shit to him. And then she goes after Obi, right?
Yeah. That was cool. The telekinesis shit, or not the telekinesis, like the telepathy that she's got. That's an interesting little power.
Yeah, I mean that's the cool thing about the Force too is like not everybody has the same abilities, right? Like so Anakin had his like precognition, and if you like Cal Kestis from the video game, his ability was when he touches stuff, he can kind of see visions of stuff like other people have like so like he sees like this guitar or lute type of thing, and he picks it up, and he knows how to play it because he can like something to do with the Force, right? There's a whole bunch of different kind of cool abilities, right?
And Obi-Wan's is being a bitch.
Well, not everybody
Yeah,
has certain ability, like, you know what I mean?
it was a
Like
joke.
special.
God.
No, I'm just saying though, like realistically, like not all Jedi have this like or a specific gift. You
Yeah,
know what
no,
I
that
mean?
makes sense. Not everybody's gonna have everything.
Yeah. So this scene here I really enjoyed because it was very reminiscent of the scene when Luke and Darth Vader first have their first confrontation, right? Obi's like hiding in this like dark room. Riva comes out and lights her lightsaber. She says, some line about his fear is
Betrays him, I
betraying,
think. Yeah.
like betrays him or something. And Vader said something very similar to Luke in the original trilogy, right? So then at this point, the Grand Inquisitor shows up and distracts Riva long enough for Obi and Leia to kind of escape. So they escape, get to the ship, and at this point, Riva's like the Inquisitor's like, I told you to stand down, and he's talking shit to her, and she just fucking runs him through with the lightsaber. He falls down dead. To be honest, I don't know if he's dead or not because again, like I said, he's in Rebels. So unless they get a new Grand Inquisitor who's from the same race, which to me doesn't really make sense, he's still alive. I think maybe 5 grabbed him and threw him in a bacta tank, but at this point, even Vader thinks he's dead,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Speaking of Vader, you did happen to overpass one little detail that I'll bring up now, and that's she was talking to Obi-Wan, and she revealed that Darth Vader is alive and is Anakin Skywalker.
Yes, yes, and it is weird how she knows who the fuck Anakin Skywalker is because
Yes, it
everybody
is.
else thinks he's dead. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I skipped that part.
It's
But
okay.
yeah, so yeah, that is very weird that she even knows that he's Anakin. So I think that is probably going to have some bigger repercussions later on in the series
Surprised
because
that there wasn't repercussions.
well, we'll see, right? You got to think of this way too, right? The way of the Sith is to kill your superiors. To move up in the ranks of the dark side, you kill your superior, right? So it kind of makes
Yeah.
sense,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
I'm more trying to figure out how the fuck she knows who Anakin is and what that's gonna mean later on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's probably the biggest part. So Obi and Leia, they get away before Reva can catch the ship, and that's the end of the episode. So,
Fly away.
yeah. So what was your overall thoughts of the of this episode?
So I really like escape things where you have to get away from somewhere. Like I don't there's an older movie, I don't remember much about it anymore, but there's an older movie that came out forever ago, Escape from LA, Escape from New York. Patrick Swayze, I think was the no, sorry, not Swayze, it was Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell was the character. He played Snake Plissken, the guy with the eye patch. Escape movies like that where you're constantly on the run from someone who's trying to get you. There's something about those movies that are just really, really riveting for me. And this had that feel almost all the way through. Obi-Wan having to watch his back the entire time, keeping an eye over his shoulder because he never knew if he was going to be found because this was a criminal planet, which really brought it to like this whole adventure side that I didn't really expect from this show, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then on top of that, the revelation of Reva's power, where she could just basically get information by using the Force, which was really fucking cool. And then her doing the fucking Grand Inquisitor in. What the fuck? Great, great stuff.
Yep. Yep.
What about you?
Yeah, again, this is another hit for me like I said, all those little Easter eggs, great. That
Hmm.
little last scene with all the reminiscence of the
New Hope.
original trilogy, just uh so yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm really liking the series so far.
Hmm.
So
I'm on
far.
board with that.
Yep. So, what was one thing you disliked about the episode?
This was an easy pick for me, dude. The rooftop stormtrooper fight. Nobody could hit a fucking thing. Nobody. I don't. You said it was Obi-Wan. Nobody could hit a fucking thing. Over to the left. Over to the right. Over to the head. At the fucking ground. Nobody hit anybody.
I mean, I guess it's hard to aim laser guns.
Or
That has to be it. That think about it. I think we just solved it. Why
so much recoil.
everybody has bad aim is
So much recoil.
because laser guns are hard to shoot,
Yes, they require two hands, and nobody ever uses two hands to shoot a gun.
right? And well, but all the Mandalorians, they have good aim because they have aiming devices built into their helmet.
Yeah, they have scouters.
Well, no, that's just Boba Fett. But the rest of them have like different sensors and stuff in their masks. So
Yeah.
I think we've just figured it out. All right.
What
All
about
right.
you?
The one thing I disliked is I don't understand the purpose of killing the Grand Inquisitor. Like, as much as I hate his big, bulbous head ass, I don't understand why they killed him. Especially since the viewers, or at least me and a lot of other people who have watched the Clone Wars and Rebels, we know that the Grand Inquisitor is still alive. So that whole thing, I don't know if it was just a cop out for them to write him out of the episode so he's not in the show anymore, but that is probably the one thing I really disliked because it was just like you could have just had Vader fucking call the Grand Inquisitor back and send him somewhere else, right? And then he's not part of this story anymore. You don't have to fucking stab the guy in the stomach. That doesn't make no damn sense. So that's probably my one dislike. That tiny little part didn't make any sense.
I see the point there, and I find that to be fair.
Yep, yep. So, what was your favorite character of the episode?
You're gonna hate me for this one too. Actually, no, you might not. You might understand. I am a sucker, an absolute sucker for Kamal Nanjiani. So Haja took it for me.
Okay. No,
He
that's my favorite as well. That's who I
oh
have
good,
written
oh
down.
good.
Yeah.
The fact that he was pulling off that fake Jedi shit with the magnets and the mind trick where he was like super concentrating, like his acting in this show was, even if it was just like 5 minutes, I love him. I love his stand up. I love the fact that he's so into his roles. When he was
Yeah.
doing that whole scene with Riva at the end, what's my bounty now? 1.5 million, 2.5 million. What am I worth? Doesn't matter, you're not gonna get me.
Yeah.
He's
No,
just he was good.
he was definitely the highlight of the episode. Um, not that the episode was bad.
No, 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 no,
He
no,
was
no.
he was just like stand out.
Oh, for sure. There's
Good.
no way anyone could forget him.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Well, you
Um,
revealed your favorite.
yeah, yeah, I did.
So we'll go and we'll jump on you for your least favorite character.
My least favorite character for this episode is Leia.
Me too.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a first fucking time for everything. We agreed on two things in one episode.
There we go. Yeah, like Leia was just really annoying. I mean, she's cute as a button, but she's just super annoying.
All the fucking running away.
Yeah. I mean, I got a 1.5 year old, a little over 1.5, and no, she's 1.5 today. So I know in a few years that's all like even just next year, like even now, her legs are so little, so she can't get away very fast. But I know within the next year, she's just gonna like that's all it's gonna be, and like that's all I picture whenever she fucking took off running. I'm just like, oh god,
Deal with this too. No.
exactly. So yeah, that's
All right. Well, since we both agreed on our favorite character and our least favorite character, what would you rate the show this episode?
um yeah, with all the callbacks and all the little Easter eggs in this episode alone, I definitely give this episode a 9. This is a 9 episode for me. What about you?
I was at an 8, but I'm gonna jump it up to an 8.5 because there's a lot of good points that have been made. I I'm still struggling with the stormtrooper fight that wasn't involving any stormtroopers, and the obnoxiousness of me wanting to punt Leia off those rooftops just for being there. Yeah, 8.5. 8.5
Okay.
out of 10.
Okay. So far, we have been enjoying this series.
Yeah,
We have spoiler alert, we have already watched episode 3.
of
We
course.
just we just don't have the time to cover it today. So,
Yeah.
we will come
So
Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say, so with that, we're actually gonna give you guys another episode with 2 episodes next week.
Yep. And then we'll be going to the 1 episode a week format till it's over. But we are also going to be covering Miss Marvel, The Boys, and Stranger Things. So,
Oh shit! The Upside Downs found its way to movie night.
yep. So we got a lot. We got a lot. A lot in the what the fuck is it
A
called?
lot in store for you guys that are gonna listen to us, and we know you're gonna listen to us because we love when you listen to us, and you
Yeah,
love that we love you for it.
we got a lot in the chamber. That's what I'm trying to say. We got a
Yeah.
full clip. We're ready to shoot. So yeah, keep your ears open, your eyes out for when the videos drop. You know what I mean? And yeah, so we'll be coming at you guys with a whole bunch of TV reviews. So get ready for TV night with the boys.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay, and we've actually decided to change our minds again on what movie that we're doing, right? So on Thursday, we are doing Chippendale, Rescue Rangers, not male strippers. So,
No. Or the guy that made cabinets from the 1700s.
yeah. So we're doing a kids movie. We're gonna try and make it a little more kids friendly, but
You might hear a little less of me swearing, maybe.
yeah, I'll try, but I'm pretty bad. It just comes out. So we'll see. We'll see. But you know, a lot of these kids' movies are made for adults. They have like a lot of adult themes and shit and jokes in them in these kids' movies. So I don't think it'll be too bad. Plus, it's Andy Samberg. You know what I
And
mean?
John Mulaney.
Exactly. So there's
And
definitely
Ugly Sonic.
Ugly Sonic. Everybody's in this. Everybody, even Roger Rabbit.
Even Batman.
Even Batman. Batman in a Disney movie. What the actual...
What a thought.
Right? So yeah. With all that being said, guys, it's been real.
It's so real.
Deuces.
Thank you all so much for listening to Movie Night with the Boys.